Hey everyone, hello. It's Talya and Ayurveda Every Day with Talya. So happy to be here with you. So today I am talking about castor oil in your eyes and just how to nourish your eyes when you've got dry, sore eyes or pretty extreme vision problems, or you're just spending too much time staring at a screen, which, hello, is probably most of us. Castor oil and ghee are traditional Ayurvedic remedies for nourishing the eyes, for clarifying the eyes, and for replenishing vision. So, we had a question in my free Facebook group, Ayurveda Every Day with Talya. If you're catching this on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and join the Facebook group if you want to. It's awesome. Um, so the question was about somebody who has dry, sore eyes, and can she use castor oil? How should she do it? And then can she also use rose water, because she's heard that that's also really good. So I want to break this down a little bit. So I'm going to actually start by talking about rose water. So rose water, or rose hydrosol, is it should be a very pure form of rose hydrosol or rose water if you're going to put it into your eyes. So you want to think about your eyes as like a holy orifice. They are, we all know our eyes are sensitive. They're sensitive to light and temperature and getting things stuck in them. So we want to be mindful of that. And these practices that I'm teaching you today are about, soothing the eyes and getting debris out of the eyes, or even getting debris out that has built up from behind the eyes. So I already knew I was going to talk about this topic today, but I visited my Ayurvedic teacher, my practitioner, Deanna Batdorf, on Tuesday, so just a couple of days ago, and I was like, I've been writing a new cookbook. Oh my God. It's so intense, mostly because the deadlines have been intense. I love writing. I love writing books. I love writing and creating recipes. And my eyes are so tired from being on my computer so much. And also staying up late to finish, to meet deadlines, and waking up super early and whatever, not getting enough rest. So I specifically requested that she put either castor oil or ghee in my eyes. And one thing that happened, this is why I'm sharing it with you, is, um, you know, I had, she could feel that there was like sort of gravel underneath this eye in particular, which is normal. This is when you're looking at the face from an Ayurvedic perspective, like doing an Ayurvedic face assessment is often what it's called. What you see underneath the eyes is kidney. So if somebody's got like really intense bags, or like these are really like the under eye area, the skin there is really heavy and puffy and full, like that's not good. That's like kidneys are in a kapha imbalance. There's some sort of stagnation or stuckness. It's also not good if you feel gravel right there. That's like extreme dryness, which I'm not surprised that that's what I have going on based on how hard I've been working. And that's what's there. So that's what I've got to deal with right now. But when we did an eye treatment, so in Ayurveda, it's called Netra Basti. Netra means eye, it's a Sanskrit word for eye, and Basti is like a container. We often think Basti is just a word for doing an enema, but Basti means to contain a particular area of the body and to give that area what it needs. So usually it's nourishment. It's not always. Sometimes it's a cleansing. Sometimes it's, adding heat or whatever. Depends on what area of the body we're talking about. But the Netra Basti is literally creating, like taking wheat flour and water, kneading it into a dough so that you make like a donut or a bagel, and you adhere that to the skin. Now, you can't do this to yourself, so don't try to do this at home, what I'm describing, but this is how we do it as practitioners when we give this treatment. So you put the basti on around somebody's eye, And now it has created a container. So when you pour in the warm castor oil or the warm ghee, and it's not hot, it's warm. It's going to feel slightly warmer than body temperature, but no hotter than that, because again, sensitive mucous membranes, these eyes, you don't want to burn them. So, she poured, for me, she did castor oil. I believe it was castor. And it was just like, it's like you're giving your eyes a bath, a nourishing bath in the ghee or the castor oil, which acts as like this lubricating, soaking fluid. And what it's going to do is it's going to pull out, because it's soaking, like you would soak a dirty casserole pan and all of the gunk on the sides would, it would make the water dirty. It's going to come away from the sides and come into the water where you can dump it and get rid of it and then soak the casserole pan again. When you're soaking the eyes like this, whatever is behind the actual eyeball, like going into the optic nerves and anything that's behind, like in the little crevices of your amazing, unbelievably incredible skull, is going to come forward into that oil. And so I had all this gravel, like, we think of it as sleep, comes out in the morning as sleep, but it came out in the treatment. And then when I woke up the next day, oh my God, there was just so much gravelly, crunchy debris that was released from my eye just from this one treatment of, doing it for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, however long it was. I was in a bliss state, so I don't know. I was totally blissing out. Now, when we want to do this kind of treatment for ourselves, and what I'm going to be doing now, I was already doing it, but it's what I do as maintenance after I give or receive this kind of a treatment, is we can put ghee or castor oil into our own eyes. And if you do that at night before you're about to close your eyes to go to sleep for your deep rest, the heat of your body will liquefy the ghee or continue to liquefy the castor oil so that it is absorbed by the mucous membrane that is your eye. So you don't really have to worry about it being as warm as you would want it to be for a full Netra Basti treatment. We're talking about how to nourish the eyes with castor oil, rose water, and or ghee today. So it doesn't have to be as warm, but it is nice. It feels good if you warm up the oil. So what I usually do is at night, I often like to finish my day with a cup of tea, something warm, or warm milk or whatever, but I'm often boiling water at night. So I'll boil the water, I'll pour it into a little cup or bowl, and I'll set my bottle of castor oil into it. So you can see I named this one Castor Eye, so that I know this is my castor oil for putting it into my eyes. I don't use this on my clients. These are for my eyes. Your eyes are also sensitive to bacteria. So whatever you do for your eyes, it should be only for your eyes. So when I do ghee, I'll have like a little container of ghee, just a little tiny one, because you're just swiping the ghee with your finger, clean finger, and pulling your eye down and swiping the eye, and then you blink and you're going to bed, so you're going to close your eyes. You can still see. It doesn't blind you. It doesn't like obstruct your vision. Like I said, once you even close your eyes and the body temperature starts to warm up the ghee and liquefy it, your body's just absorbing it. The same way if you were to rub a little bit of ghee on your skin, an hour later, you wouldn't see it there anymore. It would have absorbed. So the eyes are doing the same thing. Feels good when the ghee or the castor oil is warmed up a little bit, but it's not necessary. So just before you go to bed at night, you can do the ghee like I just showed you, or you can do the castor oil. Did I say I was going to start with rose water, and then I totally went on a tangent and started talking about castor and ghee? But yeah, you don't need very much. So what I do is I pull down the bottom eyelid, and I'm laying down when I do it so that I don't have to be like, crunching my neck to look up at the ceiling. But I just do my best. You can look at the dropper with your eye open before you actually start dropping the castor oil in. So, you can see where where the dropper is pointed. And you just I kind of go from one edge of the eye to the other. So I'm getting all the way across. And then I blink several times. So I'm letting it in by blinking. And then I will, because, with castor, it's a very thick, viscous oil. So then I will also kind of very gently rub it in. And then I'm also getting my eyelashes, which is this amazing, very nourishing practice for thickening and hydrating your eyelashes. So it's also a beauty treatment. These are also beauty treatments. Yeah, but it's really as simple as that. Now, sometimes the question is asked of, well, how do I know if I want to use ghee versus castor oil? So castor oil is very, like I said, very thick and very viscous. Both ghee and castor oil are deeply penetrating. Now, I've always thought about castor oil as actually being kind of warming, but I think it is more tridoshic. I'm gonna have to look this up and like comment underneath my own video to like clarify. Oh, I need to look it up. Ghee is definitely tridoshic. It's not going to be too heating or too cooling. A lot of times it's just what you have available. Like, um, you know, I think even with my practitioner the other day, she was like, I think I'm out of ghee, so I'm going to use castor oil. Is that okay? I'm like, yeah, fine, whatever. I have had a client who felt like the castor oil burned her eyes. It's only happened once in 19 years. And that was not, the castor oil wasn't heated. It was this practice I'm sharing with all of you that she just was doing at home on her own. We never really got to the bottom of what that was about. It was so long ago. This was probably 18 years ago, 17 years ago. Kelly Walsh, it was you. No, it was her, but if she's watching, I remember you and I remember that treatment. Um, but I believe it was she already had kind of an irritant in her eye at that time. So it could have also been the irritant coming to the surface. So when we do the treatment, professionally, the Netrabasti treatment, when I have a client being like, oh, my eye hurts or this is burning, that burning sensation usually passes. It always passes, I should say. And sometimes it's just allowing the ghee or the castor oil to do its good work, to allow whatever that irritant is to come to the surface. But right, you feel it as it's coming to the surface, and so that can feel irritating or inflammatory, but it passes, and then you're still receiving the soothing bath of one or both of these oils. And sometimes I do half and half. Sometimes I do castor oil with ghee. And sometimes I will take these roses, smell so, they are so epic. These are from my friend Amy's yard. And I think she said they're called Pretty Lady is the the breed or whatever you know, the name of this particular rose. But what I'm planning to do, it's a foggy day. I was going to do it today, so I'm hoping that these rose petals last. But what I want to do with this is make some rose ghee. And I've got a recipe for rose ghee somewhere on the internet. I will find where it is and share the link with you. But basically, it's just adding these rose petals to really good quality ghee that was not burned. I should make sure I say this is if you have roasted ghee or ghee that you burned when you were cooking it. So when you strained it, it was like a very dark brown versus a golden yellow color. You do not want to use roasted ghee in your eyes. It should only be really perfectly cooked, beautiful yellow golden ghee. So make sure that that's what you're using if you use ghee. But if when I'm making rose ghee, I just infuse the rose petals into the ghee and then let it sit in the sun. So it's, the heat is it kind of combining the essential oil of the rose into the ghee. because rose is very anti-inflammatory, very clarifying. It's also the plant that really signifies deep self-love and love in general. So sometimes when I want to, let's say my thinking is really negative, I'm really down on myself, or I'm angry at someone, and I'm just having a hard time transitioning, letting it go, getting to a different state, I will put rose ghee in my eyes or rose water in my eyes as an affirmation of I choose to see with love. So that's another way that we can use this practice is on an emotional level, because emotional is physical always. And most of the time, physical is emotional. I mean, sometimes we have the residue of physical that we're still working out from an emotional state that was ingrained in us for a long time. Um, I know this is an aside, but I just feel like saying it because I did just see my practitioner, and you know, it's freaking powerful to be doing this work consistently, ongoingly for years and years. And even the other day, she didn't tell me anything new, anything that we haven't talked about before. I've had gravel in my kidneys before. I know what to do to clear it out so that I don't develop kidney stones. I know I need to rest more. I know I need more hydrating foods. I'm eating more fish and seaweed, like all the things. Um, but to just be seen and be witnessed and be honored in your emotions, and to honor that your emotions become physical, and to know that and to live your life from that place is just, for me, I don't know, it's just so powerful, and I would never want it to be any other way. So I'm glad that you're here and listening to this, and you know being engaged in your health. By, if you're watching this, you obviously care about your health, because there's just so much that we can do with working with our emotions and working with plants and working with the planet to heal ourselves. And when we heal ourselves with plants, we also heal the planet. So, and we heal each other. It's just so beautiful. So, anyway, with rose water, I have my rose water in basically an empty essential oil bottle. So when I want to do a flush of this would be just in the middle of the day. I'm not going to put castor oil or ghee in my eyes in the middle of the day unless I am about to do, you know, some restorative yoga where my eyes will be closed and I will be laying down for at least 30 minutes to an hour. So in the middle of the day, if I'm needing a replenishing, boost for my eyes, whether it's to clarify my vision, to, be like, I want to see with the eyes of love, I want to see clearly. That's another mantra that I'll say when I do this. I just basically tilt my head back and, saturate my eyes with really high quality rose water. And I do actually add a couple essential oils to mine, but I feel like I don't want to share it in this public of a space because I feel like it could be used incorrectly and I could hurt someone. So if you want to learn more about that, take one of my courses where we're really together and you can, like, I'm not feeling like I'm putting something irresponsible into the space about essential oils. But it's amazing. And I travel with this always, especially if I'm going somewhere dusty like India or Burning Man or the desert, like Best Friends Animal Sanctuary in southern Utah, or to visit my uncle in Santa Fe, or to see my yoga teacher in Santa Fe. I always take this with me because, you can get all kinds of dust and debris in your eyes, and this will help to clear it out. One time, actually, after I had been to Burning Man, I don't go every year, but I used to go a lot. I love Burning Man. And it was misrepresented by Stephen Colbert. FYI, I'm actually gonna write him a letter to be like, hey, unless you've been to Burning Man, don't be calling it a cult. It's so not a cult. It's so not a cult. Anyway, one time after Burning Man, I got a Netrabasti from a practitioner friend, and she literally pulled a piece of pink thread about this long out of my eye. Like, it came out in the treatment. So we can have all kinds of stuff stuck behind our eyes, emotional, physical, mental, as a result of having too much stress on the eyes. So these treatments are huge. Not to mention that if you have dry eyes and your eyes are hurting because they're dry, that's really serious. You need to think about that on every level, not just topically putting something into your eyes. That's hydration from within. So that's another topic. And if that is something that's happening for you, you should really consider doing my rad cleanse this fall. The fall season is the driest, lightest season. So everything about the rad cleanse in the fall is about nourishment, lubrication, deepest hydration. So I would totally be putting that on your radar, because it's not only what you do topically, it has to be what you're also doing internally, physically and emotionally. But for dry eyes, putting castor oil in your eyes or ghee in your eyes before you go to sleep every night is a sacred practice. I highly recommend that you do it. If you're spending a lot of time on the computer, then I also recommend that you do it as a nightly practice. What I do is I don't always warm up my castor oil because sometimes I'm just like, I am tired and I'm just going to go to bed. It's enough for me to just remember to put castor oil in my eyes, much less to like heat it up before I do it. So I don't always do it, but I'll put it in, I'll do, get my eyelashes, and then I love to put an eye mask on, and I even have one that warms up. So if you can get your hands on one of those, somebody gave it to me, but it's amazing. It's like a gel. It's like this gel pack thing that you put on first, and then you put the eye thing over it, and you plug it in. It has to be plugged in, but it warms it up. Oh my God, it feels amazing. So remember, all these treatments are also beauty treatments. Um, you could do that with castor or ghee. But to directly answer Anna's question, I'm sorry it took me till the end of this video to do it, but she was asking, can I do rose water at the same time as ghee or castor oil? And the answer is no, you don't want to do that. You want to do them separately. So if you do the castor or the ghee and you wake up in the morning, that's the prime time to wash your eyes with some rose water. That would be ideal. And then you could do rose water again later in the day, like in the afternoon or whatever. But remember that rose water is, or don't remember because I haven't said it yet. Rose is cooling and nourishing, but it's also bitter. It's also cooling. So it's highly anti-inflammatory. But it also, bitter is cold, bitter is also dry. So it is astringent. And so if you have dry eyes, you probably don't want to use a ton of rose water. You mostly want to do the ghee or the castor and have that be your primary practice. You could make the rose ghee, and that would be a way to do rose and ghee at the same time. But just know that the rose water is clarifying, but not long-term wet, lubricating, nourishing. So just be careful with that. So anyway, I hope you got a ton out of this 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 lesson about how to nourish and lubricate dry eyes, sore eyes, tired eyes with castor oil, ghee, and rose water. And I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.